So I just moved to Brazil 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to tell you all of the things that I think are just crazy to me as an American. And this video will be done Q&A style. Where in Brazil are you living or visiting right now? Right now I'm in the north of Brazil, in the Amazon, and it's pretty cool. But I will say that the Amazon, the places that I've been in the Amazon, it's much like a normal forest. The things that are different about it are the sounds. Like cicadas sound like a saw, and monkeys sound like they're going to kill you, and the birds there just sound crazy. The birds there sound really cool. What made you come to Brazil in the first place? I've been studying Portuguese for 3 years. I wanted to travel the world, and Brazil is my first stop. I decided that if I had the funds to do it, and I was able to make money abroad, which I thankfully found a job that I work like 22, 23 hours a week in, that I would do it. And here I am. I figure it's best to travel now before I place my roots and settle down. What did you expect Brazil to be like before coming? I have no idea. I expected a lot of partying, a lot of happiness, a lot of just good vibes, I guess. I don't really know what I was expecting. How long have you been here so far? I've been here 2 weeks. How do Brazilians compare to people from your home country? They're more or less the same, to be honest. The people here are a lot darker. I come from Wisconsin, from a more rural part of Wisconsin, where there's a lot of European descendants. Here in the north, in the Amazon, there's a lot of indigenous influence. So the skin tones here are a lot darker. The people here are a lot shorter. They obviously look more indigenous. The dress code is different. I don't know how to explain the dress code, but I feel like it's more modest in the north than it is back home. Except swimsuits. Swimsuits are not modest. But I don't think swimsuits are modest in most places. So I'd say generally their personalities are more or less the same. They're about as open, about as welcoming as people from the States. And I think that the only difference that I can find in terms of extroversion is shopkeepers. They're a lot more extroverted. They're a lot more trying to get your attention, trying to talk to you, trying to get you to buy their products. In the US, we don't really have a culture of doing that. We have more of a passive culture. Were locals welcoming or shy at first? Depends on the person. Some people don't like talking with me because it's very difficult for them to understand me and for me to understand them. Some people are interested in my journey and my story, but not as much as I initially thought, or not as much as I had thought before coming here. And some people are very welcoming, like I met this tour guide, and she introduced me to her friend group, and I've been hanging out with them, and it's been wonderful. So that part has been a blessing. But overall, they're very average on the welcoming scale. Very cautious, because when I try to talk to people, when I sit down and eat, or when I find people who are sitting alone at restaurants, I try to sit down and talk with them, and they're very cautious at first. And I think that's just because of the omnipresent danger that you see in Brazil. Or maybe not see, but feel. What surprised you most about Brazilian social life? People were more reserved than I thought. I thought of Brazil as a very party, go get 'em culture, but it's been less like that than I had imagined. Maybe it's just because I try my best not to talk to people who engage with me like that, because I'm worried that they will take advantage of me being American. Maybe that's why. But whenever I make the first move and I initiate a conversation or try to do things, then it seems like they're not as extroverted or curious as I had initially thought. How is small talk or friendliness different here? It's about the same, more or less. How's your experience with Portuguese so far? I've been learning Portuguese for 3 years, and now that I'm actually living here, it's a lot harder than I initially thought. I thought that it would be like, oh, I made a mistake, haha, let's laugh about it. No, it's I made a mistake, they don't know what I'm saying, I don't know what they're saying, and nobody's having a great time. Because they're trying to make money, I'm trying to get something. Like it's very transactional, I suppose. At least that's when I feel the stress. And there's sotaque. Their accent is quite different than the rest of Brazil. I don't know why. I still cannot pinpoint why it's different. But when they talk, I know it's Portuguese, I just can't understand them. So, so it's just been really different. What are some phrases or slang you hear all the time? Toppy. Like, uh, like that's just how you describe something. Toppy. It's like saying something's top or something's the best. It's that's toppy. It's a good slang though. What else do I hear? That's been the main thing that I've noticed is toppy. Have people been patient when you speak Portuguese? For the most part, yeah. For the most part, they're trying their best to understand me, and I'm trying my best to make myself understood. And most people understand that it's a two-way street, and we're both trying our best. That I appreciate. But sometimes it's not like that. Like when I bought a SIM card from a Venezuelan woman who has been living here in Brazil for 10 years, and her Portuñol was very strong, so I could not understand her, even if she slowed way down because she was speaking she was speaking Spanish half the time. So that was a bit funny to me, but it's also very irritating. So I think it depends more upon the person than it does the culture. What was your first impression of Brazilian food? So what I've learned here is in the Amazon we have a lot of fish, pasta, rice, and beans, and something called farinha, which is made from cassava. And I thought it's very all right. Like I only go to cheap places because I'm trying to save money. I don't work 40 hours a week, but it's very it's very decent. It's very filling. It's very filling. Um I wouldn't say it's anything to write home about, but if you go to a good restaurant, you'll get high quality food. It's just going to be more expensive. So, much like most places, if you go to cheap restaurants, the food you'll get may not be the best. But if you go to expensive restaurants, the quality of the food will increase. So, it's really more about where you go in the city rather than the city itself, in my opinion. But we'll see how that changes when I travel throughout Brazil, because I've heard that the food in the south is the best. What foods or drinks have you tried that you really liked or didn't? Free farinha's all right. The fish here is very fishy. When prepared well, it's good. I loved how they prepare bananas here. They prepare bananas in a very sweet way. They like coat it and fry it, I think, and it's just super good. So if you ever come here, try the bananas. I love how they prepare them. Lots of tapioca here too. Um, and they prepare tapioca like you would an omelet. So you know how you have egg and you cook it all the way through and then you fold it over itself with the ingredients in the middle. That's what you do, but instead of egg, it's tapioca. And you can put eggs or tucumã, which is a fruit here, um, or cheese in it, and it's quite good. Although tucumã is very, it's kind of chewy, kind of bland. You need to pair it with something. Farinha, it's different. It's very different food. Think of it like crushed up croutons, except some of it is just you can't bite through. um, I've tried, I've tried Brazilian soda, and I thought that was quite good. I tried this thing called a caixinha, and I really do enjoy caixinhas. Caixinhas are like, it's like a teardrop shaped deep fried batter with chicken and sometimes cream inside. It's quite good. How do public spaces like parks, beaches, or streets feel compared to home? So, where I'm at, we don't have too many. We have some parks within walking distance, but it's a lot of concrete. The parks at home had a lot of grass. The parks here don't. It's a lot of concrete, and the parks are normally surrounding like a church or maybe like a pond with some concrete bridges. Those are just a few that come to mind. But there are some parks with grass, with volleyball courts, with football, like little futsal courts. So for the parks, it's a little bit different. We don't have beaches here. We have a river, but no beaches. And and what's most different are the streets. The drivers are a lot more aggressive here. They honk a lot, and the honking's more of for communication. It's not really so much road rage, which is kind of nice. And the streets are just absolutely packed with people and vendors. So what's different about here in Brazil is that in the States, we have all of the shop doors. They all have walls, right? So it's wall, you use a door and enter. In Brazil, that wall is like a garage door. The whole wall comes up during the day and you can walk inside the shop. And sometimes they have AC inside the store, and that kind of lures people in because it's chilly inside the store and like 100 degrees outside of it. So that's been a very interesting adjustment. And then at night, all the garage doors close so that people don't come in and steal stuff. What's something small that felt very different? Everything's different here. It's just different. It's not better nor worse. It's just different. People say good morning and good afternoon and good evening a lot more here than they do in the United States, I've noticed. The infrastructure is a lot older here than it is in the United States. Rarely anybody uses cash here, so that's been a little different. Doesn't affect me because I never use cash anyways. But here, nobody uses cash. People ask for Pix a lot, which is a banking system that's only used for Brazilians and in Brazil. And we don't really have anything like it in the United States because Pix is government backed. It's like if the government had a system for payments. So instead of using Venmo, everybody just uses this payment system that's set up by the government. How's the weather and nature compared to what you're used to? Not a lot of nature here. Like I mentioned, the Amazon rainforest is like a normal forest, except the sounds are so different. That's what's the most different about the Amazon rainforest. The sounds are crazy there. And it's a lot hotter here. Surprise, surprise. Gets to be 85 degrees Fahrenheit at night, and during the day it feels like 105. It just rarely cools down. It gets to the point where you walk outside, and if it feels like 87, it's a little chilly. It's a little bit colder than you're used to. So it's really different how my body is adjusted so well to the heat, where 87 feels cold. And it's very humid all the time. So... And normally it doesn't rain during this time of year. This time of year is the dry season. But people have been saying that it's been raining more often than it has in the past. And that's most likely attributed to anthropogenic climate change. I also want to plug in my tutoring service. That is how I make money abroad. I am a tutor. So if you would like help with any math or science up into a high school level, or biology at a college level, or if you want help with ACT prep, I'm currently trying to get a student of mine to get a 34 on the ACT. If you want to get that kind of score, just reach out to me. My email will be in the description. Thank you. What do you think of the city layout or public transport? I don't know much about it. I don't like taking the bus. I don't like walking. It all makes me very nervous. So I don't really do it all that often. They have quite a few buses that go by, which I like. And they don't really have bus stops. They just kind of wait on the street. So that's been kind of interesting. And they also have, well, they do have one bus station, but it's not really like a station. It's more like a roof in the middle of the street, and you can sell things there. So there's a lot of vendors there. So that's been very interesting. How do people dress or express their style? They are fairly modest here, actually, surprisingly, because you hear about Brazil, like, oh, Brazilians, they aren't very modest and they're beautiful. I think they're just like people everywhere. They're a little bit more modest than what I'm used to in the States. And yeah, it's a lot of just kind of shorts, like decent shorts and a somewhat tight shirt. If you're a woman, and a little looser shirt if you're a guy. It's all very not standard. It's just I don't know. It all kind of blends together to be the same as shorts and a shirt. And very rarely do you see people deviate from this. What's something you noticed about how people spend their free time? People walk very slowly, and they also visit the shops quite often, which is cool. Again, I don't really know. What's been your biggest culture shock moment so far? The streets are empty at night. In the United States, I can walk along the streets at night and I feel safe. When I do that here, well, I don't do that here because I feel like I'm in danger, and I am in danger because the streets are empty and it's nighttime. Another culture shock is that bugs get into your apartment very easily. I left an ice cream container in the open without throwing it away, and there were a trail of ants coming to it and eating it from the outside. So that I learned very quickly. We cannot keep food out in northern Brazil. What do you love most about Brazil already? I love the shops on the streets. I wish we had that in the States. It's wonderful. Is there anything that's been challenging or unexpected? Talking with people has been challenging. Making connections has been challenging. It hasn't been any easier to meet people here than it is in the United States. How have your first impressions changed since arriving? In the beginning, I thought it was a very poor area and there seemed to be a lot of poverty. But the more time I spend here, the more I realize that people truly love this city, and I can see why. It's relatively safe if you have street smarts, and there's a lot to do, and there's a lot of variety here. So the city's growing on me. Would you recommend Brazil to someone thinking about visiting or moving here? If you want to, it's up to you. And I also want to end on saying that the outlets here look like this. And also, laundry detergent comes in plastic bags. Those are two things that you probably didn't know and probably would never have known if I didn't tell you. And that's it. That's it for me. Leave your comments down below so I can kind of hear your story and ask some questions that you want to know about Brazil. Thank you. Have a great day. Ciao.